Hi everybody, welcome back to Lockdown Lessons Part 52, and with me today I've got Jonathan Mansfield from Thomas Mansfield Solicitors. So firstly, a big hello to you, Jonathan.
Hello, really nice to be here.
Pleasure to have you on board as well. So I suppose the first question I always leave with in these interviews is, for those people that are actually watching this right now that don't know who you are and what you do, perhaps you could fill us in, Jonathan.
Well, I'm an employment lawyer. My firm, Thomas Mansfield Solicitors, deals with wills and probate, family law issues, but above all employment law, which is what we were originally founded to deal with. And so I support employers and senior executives with the kind of issues that they have in the workplace that might lead to litigation, ideally before it gets to the litigation stage. So that we avoid a dispute, but otherwise we help people with their disputes. I've also got another hat, which is I'm a certified coach as well myself. So, and I've got a particular focus on helping lawyers and helping lawyer entrepreneurs with their business.
Fantastic, thank you very much. So just out of interest, on the litigation side, what percentage actually come to you when there's a problem and you have to deal with it, as opposed to people that prevent it?
I would say a significant majority come at the later stage, or come sort of either of their new clients. It's a sort of distress purchase because the papers have arrived on their desk that morning, or if it's clients who will come back to us when something gets litigious. I mean, we're often working with HR managers or people who've got HR consultants on board who will often be dealing with things internally, but when they begin to get either more complicated legally or there's a dispute looming, then we come in.
Fantastic. So I suppose the first question, or the next question, sorry, to throw at you is, obviously, if we can cast our mind back to March last year, obviously the world was in a bit of disarray, to say the very least. At what point did you think there might be a bit of a problem commercially here, whether it's for yourselves, for your clients, or for the wider sort of business community?
Well, I think it impacted the workplace, which is really our sphere of operations, immediately. And so right at the beginning, we got an awful lot of inquiries about what they were going to have to do. Possibility of redundancies came up, and legal issues like collective redundancies. It all changed very quickly then when the furlough scheme came in, and so we found ourselves advising on that, and it kind of eased the pressure in a way, because a lot of people thought that that their world had sort of gone to pieces in commercial terms, and so one of the things they were having to do was to cut back significantly. But after it settled down, and the furlough scheme came in, and some of the other provisions, it was I think just busy really with all sorts of issues that arise when businesses are under pressure, which they were. Rationalizing their workforces. There were quite a few redundancies, unfortunately, at that time, but also some of the other issues which they had to be careful about, such as how to respond to things thrown up by the virus with employees, for example, who are self-isolating, or raising issues of health and safety, not happy attending the workplace, and so we had to do a lot of educating, I think, of our people about ways to avoid problems coming out from that, but also how to deal with people who might be challenging and not necessarily have a good legal basis, for example, to refuse to come to work or travel or whatever.
Got it.
So it was a very busy time.
Absolutely, yeah. I think some of the best cases of businesses that have done well and thrived throughout lockdown, not necessarily throughout the whole of lockdown, but at least a chunk of it, were people that actually spent that time and energy and effort with their clients, actually educating them, like you say, to try to help them understand what was going on, and then tying that bond. What we'll find is hopefully our client retention will go up as a result of that help we gave, because I'm sure not all of it was billable, right?
No, that's right, and I think also it was a good opportunity for us to raise the profile significantly. We started a series of webinars from April, which were addressing all the changes that were coming in, and the issues that were coming out of the pandemic as they impacted on employment law. And we have very good attendances to those. I mean, like lots of people who were running webinars at the time did. There were people seem to be getting to the online events in greater numbers than they had to live events beforehand. So it was a good opportunity for us to raise our profile, and I think we've built up a good following of people who haven't necessarily, in all cases, given us work yet, but who have got an interest in what we're doing. But also we've developed another side of our law business, which is the training side as well, because that's something we do on top. We train on things like disciplinary matters, how to manage sickness absence, and managing redundancies. We can do training sessions for people so that they're the line managers, so are the people who, if you get a problem, it's often there's not necessarily at the highest level within the company, but the line managers, the people on the front line. If you can increase their awareness, you're probably less likely to get issues that go legal later on.
Absolutely. So would you say, apart from the training and the increased numbers of webinars, would you say there have been any other wins that you've had since we went into lockdown, the original lockdown, that is?
Well, we've had I think a good area of work that we've been developing, and we've been able to get a number of instructions in on is the business protection side of our work, because we're advising employers on a regular basis on things like restrictive covenants, so stopping people running off with the confidential information, or pinching the clients, and we act on both sides in those cases. And we seem to have had, and this is partly helped by the work we did in the webinars, in kind of raising awareness with reviewing people's contracts, tightening them up, because if they're not drafted really carefully, then they're unlikely to be enforceable. But also a number of instructions where it's been a case of handling the possibility of someone running off with the client lists and so on.
Absolutely. I've seen that a couple of times before.
Yes.
My old guys, actually, funnily enough. So okay. So from your point of view, then, what would you say? It's a difficult question to ask. This one, difficult question to answer. Sorry. What would you say your biggest learning about yourself has been, Jonathan, since March last year?
Oh, that is an interesting question, actually, and I think I probably would, to some extent, turn it back on myself. I think the effect of the lockdown was to help people along in their self-reflection. We did think, although it went well for us in the employment law practice, at the beginning, the world was obviously changing so much and so quickly. We were having to do a lot of changes internally as well within the business. We had to, go to remote working more quickly, went paperless, everything, all of that kind of speeded up. But also, I think because of the big changes going on, working from home itself it's so normal now that most of the time, we recently opened our office, but it seems so normal. But for me, there was quite a bit of self-reflection, and I was working on the coaching thing. I mentioned the coaching thing earlier, and I was doing quite a lot of self-coaching, and I realized that a lot by working on managing the way I thought about things, I was able to achieve better results for myself, both in the business and the personal life, and remembering that balancing the two was a very important thing. But sometimes you're skeptical about whether it's possible when you're in a high pressure job. You think, oh well, it comes with the territory, but you can't go on like that for forever. These kind of issues also came up within the firm. People raised questions about the stress that was caused by these changes, and so we adapted to it. And so I felt my understanding of what my people were going through was enhanced by the fact that they were going through a similar thing to me. I felt closer to them in a way, even though I was not seeing them face to face more often. But I also felt that I was better equipped through the self-coaching process to setting my goals and achieving them through the year. So that's a kind of endorsement for your profession, if I may say so.
Absolutely. It's I think that the people, most of the people that I see, it's fun enough, Jonathan, a number of challenges can come up with every business, as we know, but usually it comes down to time, right? And if you haven't got the time put aside to plan, to work on how you can improve your conversion rate, to work on how you can generate more leads, to work on how to manage your people better, to develop a sort of a culture within the business. If you haven't got time to do that because your life is being controlled by your staff and by your customers, then no changes happen, and we're just a reactive business owner that just changes with whatever happens to us. So I think that having that time aside, for me especially, yes, yourself, like you said, and also a lot of other people have said the same thing to me as well during lockdown. They had that time. So I think that's a really interesting point you've made there. So just to wrap up then, Jonathan, for who would be your ideal customer? So I'm just thinking there might be someone watching this right now that wants to find out a bit more about what you do and how you help people. So what would be your ideal customer?
So my ideal customer on the employment law side of matters is an HR manager or a small business owner, but mainly it's the larger SME type of businesses that we help, who have in-house HR, but who need us as a kind of an external support or adjunct if there are litigious matters, or because they want input on a sort of legal technical level. So those will be that's the ideal one. And we are city based. We have an office in Tunbridge Wells. We have an office in the city and Guildford based as well, but particularly financial sector businesses in central London. That there are particular sort of target market, but it's by no means exclusive. And then for myself personally, I'm keen to build up the contacts I have with other lawyers, and especially those who are entrepreneurs and dealing with the kind of things we were speaking of a moment ago, in terms of balancing the different pressures within the work of staff, getting the work in, often doing a lot of the fee earning work as well.
Fantastic. So on one side, you're looking for larger SMEs, HR professionals that maybe need some help from a law firm. And then secondly, you're looking for lawyer managing partners, I'm assuming. Are you talking about in maybe
and owners? Yes, that's right.
Owners as well, and law firms that are looking to get better results from either their team, their time, or their money. I'm assuming similar to what I do for a lot of other businesses as well. So that's absolutely fantastic. So how best can these people reach you then, Jonathan?
Well, they can reach me. By all means, contact me on LinkedIn, where I'm, I can easily be found. Otherwise, email me or give me a call on jonathan.mansfield@thomasmansfield.com and telephone 07947 598 148. I'd love to speak to those people.
Good. Well, what we're going to do
very happy, of course, as well. With people who have want to have a quick chat about a problem, without any commitments. Or always happy to do that.
Lovely. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. And what I'm going to do is in the comments below this video, I'm going to leave those details that you gave anyway, just to save people writing things down and misspelling things. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
No problem. It's been an absolute pleasure. And catch up soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.